Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, we are going to discuss the third lesson from Flamingo, that is Deep Water, which was written by William Douglas. About the author, William Douglas was born in Maine, Minnesota. After graduating with a Bachelor's of Arts in English and Economics, he spent 2 years teaching high school in Yakima. However, he got tired of this and decided to pursue a legal career. He met Franklin D. Roosevelt at Yale and became an advisor and friend to the president. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights. He retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest serving justice in the history of the court. The following excerpt is taken from Of Men and Mountain by William O. Douglas. Of Men and Mountain is the book from which this part has been taken. Okay, Of Men and Mountains. This is what the main concept. And next, William Douglas. It reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. In this essay, he talks about his fear of water and therefore how he finally overcame it. That is what the main concept. So he had some fear, that is hydrophobia, and finally he conquered it. How? That is what the main concept here. Yes. First of all, let us go through. It is an autobiographical narration. Let us go through the lesson. First point is hydrophobia. So here, what is hydrophobia? The fear of water. The writer had the fear of water from his childhood. How had he developed this phobia? Let us see this. And there are mainly two incidents that had developed hydrophobia in the writer's mind. The first incident is at California beach, right? When the author was just at the age of 3 or 4, his father took him to California beach. His father was a surfer. While surfing on the waves, the author hung on to his father's legs. At the waves knocked him. Him means here William Douglas knocked him down and swept over him. He was buried in water. His breath was gone. He was frightened. His father laughed, but there was terror in his heart at the overpowering force of the waves. Thus, he developed hydrophobia. This is the first incident. Okay, his father was a surfer, and he had taken his son to California beach, and there he surfed. While surfing, the waves hit the boy as the boy was at the legs. Okay, that's what the main concept here. He had developed that hydrophobia. Okay, that was the first incident. And what's the next incident? Then the YMCA pool incident. That's what. Let us go through it. What is this YMCA pool incident? Next time, when they were in Yakima, he joined in YMCA pool to learn swimming at the age of 10 to 11. Remember this. YMCA pool, Young Men's Christian Association, is the full form of YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association. So there was an association which is called YMCA. In that there is a pool also, and in the pool he joined at the age of 10 or 11. And the YMCA pool was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end, and it was 9 feet at the deep end. The drop was gradual. That is what you can see here in the picture. See, this is actually the shallow end. So here the depth is only 2 or 3 feet, and gradually if you come this way, it is 9 feet. Okay, that is what the main concept, YMCA pool. He joined here to learn swimming. He means here the writer, when he was just 10 or 11. He bought water wings also. He came to swimming for 2 or 3 days and was feeling ease with water. But again, he had experienced the terrible incident. Here also, what's that terrible incident? On that particular day means, so after 2-3 days, maybe the 4th day, he went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet. The water was still, and the tiled bottom was as white and clean as a bathtub. He was afraid of going in alone. Already he had that hydrophobia, right? That's why he was afraid of going in alone. So he waited, or he sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. Then there came a bodybuilder type of boy. There came a bodybuilder and threw him into the pool at the deeper end, where it was 9 feet. The writer was terrified, but not completely out of his wits. That's what here once again you see. This is the pool, and there is no one. At that time, our author came and sat here, maybe here, okay. And then there came a big bruiser type of boy, and he had thrown him into this area. Here he was thrown into this area, and thus what happened? uh, the writer, as he was already afraid of water, he was terrified but not completely out of his wits. Generally, what is this not completely out of his wits? See, generally when some danger is ahead, some people's mind doesn't work immediately, their mind blocks. But here he was not like that, though terrified somewhat, okay, better, and he was able to think. Then he planned his strategy. What's his strategy? While going down, he had planned his strategy. What's the strategy? In his own words, we'll see. When my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat on it, it means here water, and paddle to the edge of the pool. That is what his plan. When he hit the bottom, he would make a big jump and lie flat on the water, and then he would like to come up to the edge of the pool. That's his plan. But what's happening here? That 9 feet seemed 90 feet for him. His lungs were about to burst. Finally, he touched the bottom of the pool, and here he executed his plan to kick the bottom and come up. He thought that he would come up like cork, and but he came up slowly. He tried to grab something but could catch only water. He was suffocating. Then slowly his eyes and nose came up, but not his mouth. As he came up, he tried to paddle and reach the edge of the pool, but his legs paralyzed and could not do that. Once again, he was going down. He was feeling like some electricity was pulling him down. Okay. Once again, he was going down. He was terrified this time. His lungs ached and his head throbbed. He cried for help, but none heard him except water. Slowly, he came up again. First his eyes and then his nose, but not his mouth. Second time also, he came up. Okay. Third time, he was going down. When he was going down third time, this time all efforts ceased. Means here he was unable to do anything. He lost his energy and everything. He was drowsy. That means about to lose his consciousness. He was feeling that some tender arms like mothers carried him down gently, and he did not know what's happening around him. And then he lost his consciousness. Thus, he lost his consciousness, and when he went down for the third time into the pool, then what happened? Yes, he was out of the pool. You see how he was out of the pool. When he came into conscious, he was lying on his stomach beside the pool, vomiting the water. The chap means the boy who had thrown him into the water. The chap that threw him in was saying, "Hey, just for fun, I did it." Like that, he was telling. But I was only fooling. Someone said, "The kid nearly died. Be all right now. Let's carry him to the locker room." Hey, why did you do that, man? The kid is almost dead. So let us take him to the, now he is okay. Let us take him to the locker room. Like that, they thought and they said, and they had carried him to the locker room that night. After spending some time in the locker room, he had reached his home, and he could not sleep even. From that day onwards, he did not go to the water bodies. But as he was growing, he wanted to enjoy with his friends at waterfalls. Okay, waters of Cascade or Goat Rocks, something names are mentioned, and then fishing, like maybe the salmon fishing or landlocked salmon fishing, bass fishing, stout fishing. So all that kind of fishings he wanted to go, maybe in the Hampshire, maybe some destitutes, Oregon, whatever it is. Wherever he had gone, the same fear haunted him. Fishing and boating. Wherever he had gone, the same fear haunted him and he was deprived of joy. Deprived of joy means there was no joy. That was his problem. Then finally he thought and he wanted to reduce that fear, and that's why he had gone to some instructor, swimming coach. After thinking for a while, he met a swimming coach in the month of October. In the initial days, the instructor put a belt around him. A rope attached to the belt went through a pulley that ran on a overhead cable, and he had on to the end of the sorry he held one end to the end of the rope, and he went back and forth. He held on to the end of the rope and he went back and forth across the pool, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. That's what he planned. See here, like this, there was overhead cable or pulley, and with the help of that overhead cable, here, imagine this man is the coach. Imagine here it is not actually that, but just for example, I have taken this pic. So the coach held one end of the rope in his hand. The other end was tied to the waist of our author. That was with the help of that rope he used to teach him swimming for almost 3 months. When he was in the water, the same old terror returned. Only after 3 months, his fear began to reduce. Only after 3 months, his fear got reduced. Then the instructor taught him to put his face under water and exhale, and to raise his head, nose and inhale. Inhale and exhale. These were the practices. Later, the instructor taught him to kick his legs. And in the beginning, his legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed. And finally, he could command them. And the instructor finally finished his coaching in the month of October. And finally, he said, "Yes, it is done. Now you can swim," he said. But Douglas, our writer, was still afraid of going out and swim in the other water bodies. He tried in the same pool till July. A little fear haunted him in the pool. Okay, going that side and this side, he tried almost for 3 months. He was there in that particular pool where he had been trained. And then what happened? So after trying there in the pool, he tried in the other lakes, Lake Wentworth. So he wanted to try it in the other lakes. So he went to Lake Wentworth and swam from Triggs Island to the Stampact Island. From Triggs Island to the Stampact Island. He tried. Here, he tried all the strokes like side stroke, burst stroke, front stroke, okay, crawl stroke, all the strokes. These are the different strokes in swimming, right? All the strokes he tried. When he put his face under water, fear came in miniature. So while swimming, he put his water under water, and then he put his face under water, and then that fear came in miniature. He laughed and said to fear, "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" See, like that he said. And with this, the fear had gone. And final attempt. Finally, yes, first he tried in the pool where he was trying. Next, he went to Lake Wentworth. And finally, he went to, yes, where he had gone. Let us see. Finally, he wanted to confirm whether he is terror stricken or not. So he went to Warm Lake, crossing all the mid glaciers, okay, or a creek trail, something like that, meadows and glaciers. Early in the morning, he dived into the lake and swam across the pool, the other shore, and back, just as Doc Corcoran used to do. Doc Corcoran was a famous swimmer. Just like that, Doc Corcoran, he also had done from swimming from one end to the other end, one shore to the other shore. At last, he shouted that he had conquered the fear. He had conquered the fear of water. That's what he did. And when he shouted, some Gilbert Peak also echoed. He had used here all the things like mid glaciers or Gilbert Peak, Triggs Island. That's what autobiographical narration means. Simply not only explaining our own thing, our own thoughts, but our surroundings also. Yes, that is what how he overcame his fear. Yes, conclusion. This is really a great experience for him because he had experienced both the sensations of fear and death. He says that there is peace in death and there is terror only in the fear of death. There is a quotation like, The courageous dies only once, the coward dies every day. That's what the meaning of this. This means that if you want to live happily, leave your fear. That is what the main thing. As Franklin Roosevelt said, all we have to fear is fear itself. All we have to fear is fear itself. So we should never allow fear to enter into your mind or heart. Thus, the writer conquered his fear of death through determination, strong will. Okay, there ends the lesson, my dear students. I hope you understood very well. If you like my video, please subscribe. Thank you.